Amen.
There you go.
Amen. Alrighty, so well, Miss Lillian.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, so first question I want to ask you, what was your thought and emotion? This is a really deep question, but what was your thought and emotional process when you first read the book?
I felt exposed. I was like, why does this girl know exactly what I'm going through and feeling? And as I was reading it, I was like, man, she keeps getting right and more right. I think just opening up with the first color that Rebecca talks about is black. And I was like, man, it's just, it was a lot of, it was a little ugly, I guess you could say. But it's not in a bad way, in the little ugly in the way of it's exposing what you're feeling or maybe the thoughts that you already experienced and your life experiences and allowing you to self-reflect and be like, oh, this hit a soft spot still. I thought I was over this, or oh, I thought I was already ready to move on, but okay, I need to sit with this for a little bit and kind of heal more and then unpack what's going on, because Rebecca does a phenomenal job of kind of just going through the self-discovery process, and in doing so comparing it to what it's like to be a chameleon as a human and how we're very similar and how we communicate, only if we could communicate in real life and change colors so people could understand what we're feeling and going through would be much easier. But she goes into depth of like how that expresses, how the same way a chameleon expresses their feelings and emotions, we do the same as humans, but verbally or maybe non-verbally. How's our communication style? Do we shut down? Do we try to blend in? So it was a healing process as reading throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. I heard you mentioned the chapter black. For those of you who don't know, because I think actually no, I don't think anybody knows this. Each chapter is focused on a specific color. And so I heard you mention the color black. Which chapter / color stood out the most to you, and why?
So I wore black and peach, the majority of black, because I noticed that as much as I want to be peach right now, I'm still a little black. So to give you more context of what that is, so a chameleon by nature is cold-blooded, and I'm reading off just the book. But you guys gotta buy the book. I'm not gonna tell you everything, but I'll give you a little bit of pieces. It's really good. It's really good. And they're very sensitive to temperature change. So when the temperature around them is cooler, they change to a deeper dark color. So it also indicates a presence of a threat, or that it feels threatened. So it means that they're fearful of something in their environment, which causes a stress response. And the author Rebecca talks about how she experienced being in a very abusive relationship. She touched on it very briefly in this book, but that's something that I could relate to. Just a year ago, I was able to be freed from that, but after almost two and a half years in that relationship was brutal. It was just brutal, and going away from who I am and dimming down who I am, and always being on guard, always being stressed, always being just not the person who God called me to be, just put me in this chameleon, how Rebecca talks about in the book. And so black really resonated with me, and I wanted to read this portion where I think it captures all of this chapter really well. It says, when you get the book, page 16, it says, I felt frustrated and stuck, unable to break through the obstacles that were holding me back. I tried to change my approach, adjust my perspective, but nothing seemed to work. It is like I was trapped in a cycle of repetition, unable to learn from my mistakes and move forward. And yet, I could not help but to keep trying, keep running into the glass window. There is a part of me that refuses to give up, that believes there must be a way to break free. So I kept pushing, kept searching for solutions, even when it seemed impossible, hoping one day I would find a way to fly beyond the barriers set before me. So when I was reading the chapter of Black, I was really reflecting to the time of, man, I thought I was over this already. It's been a year, I'm getting to be more of who I am, but getting back to my roots, getting back to the person that God called me to be at my core. And I'm healing, and I'm ready for the next relationship. God, where's my husband? So that's why I wore peach also, because peach is another chapter in the book where when a female chameleon is ready to mate, she turns this peach color. To kind of signal, like, okay, I'm ready for prospects, where they at. And the cool thing, though, in nature, and also resembles what biblically what we believe, is that the woman is meant to be found and not the other way around. So I noticed, I was like, okay, I think I'm still kind of getting out of my black stage of kind of my color black, of still having to heal from that before I could step into find my husband, whoever God called me to be. And I thought I was ready, and got really excited about this one guy, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. God, this is it. And luckily, I think now I know, 3 months into a relationship instead of 3 years later, finally making the decision making the decision more quickly when it's not it, and I'm not ready. And so I think really coming to the realization just now that I need to prepare myself, I need to heal myself, I need to focus on just me and focus on God and what He has for me before He allows me to meet my husband wherever he's at. So,
man. As I heard you touch on it just a little bit, but in addition to